Hi, this is Miss Gross. For my book talk today, I'm going to be talking about Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. It is a fictional novel that just came out pretty recently. For a brief summary, this book takes place in the years 1952 to about 1970 in a place called Barkley Cove in North Carolina. There are two timelines and two separate stories that are happening, and then eventually they'll intertwine and meet in the middle. So the book does start in 1969, and a popular person from town named Chase Andrews shows up dead, face down in a river, and no one really knows what happened. So they all kind of start pointing fingers. The second timeline that's also happening, we go back in time to 1952, and the main story focuses on a girl named Kaya, who is around 6 years old, and her family does live in Barkley Cove. It's a little marsh, basically, so it's kind of like swampy. No one really wants to live there. It's full of poverty, and it's just a rundown kind of part of town. One by one, we start to see Kaya's family members abandon her and abandon the house until all of them are gone, and then she's just raising herself. So she has no formal education. She can't read. She's ostracized from the community because everyone's suspicious of her. They think she's dumb. They think she's weird. Right, so she keeps to herself and just like learns how to raise herself off of the marshlands and the fish and everything that's there, and just takes care of herself while not being accepted by anyone from the community. So as Kaya is getting older, right, the years are passing. So we eventually meet up that timeline where Chase Andrews in 1969 is found drowned, and at that time, everyone starts accusing Kaya, aka the Marsh Girl, right? Because they're very suspicious of her. They think she's strange already, so they start pointing fingers and trying to accuse her of murder. Overall, I really, really do recommend this book. It was hard for me to put down. I was super excited to get through it. It's cool because it kind of has a few different genres in there, right? There's the mystery of the murder, and so you have to like put those pieces together. It's that interesting writing style of having two separate storylines. There is some romance, so that's always fun. And there's just some really beautiful poetic language too, because a lot of it is about the marsh and all of the birds that Kaya studies. And so you just get like a really lush description of all the nature and everything too. So I really did love this book. The next thing I'm going to do is just share a brief quote and then talk about it. So the quote I want to share is from a part of the book where Kaya has been let down romantically by someone. Don't want to give too much away. And for the first time ever, she's going to leave the marsh. So she gets into her boat and starts going out towards the Gulf Stream, and the waters get really, really choppy, and she almost drowns. So after she finally gets back to safety, this is a quote that she narrates. "If anyone understood loneliness, the moon would, drifting back to the predictable cycles of tadpoles and the ballet of fireflies. Kaya burrowed deeper into the wordless wilderness. Nature seemed the only stone that would not slip midstream." That's on page 176. So the reason why I really like that quote is because Kaya has to be fully self-sufficient. Anytime that she has tried to get close to someone, basically she ends up getting hurt, and she realizes that the only thing or like presence that's ever going to be there for her is nature. And it's interesting, right? Because in that quote, it says like the wordless wilderness and all these predictable cycles. So nature never lets her down. And also the fact that she doesn't have any like public schooling or anything doesn't matter because she's wise and she's intelligent in the ways of the marsh. So it's, I don't know, a beautiful passage. And then last thing is, I do think this is actually pretty similar to a book called The Island of the Blue Dolphins. I think it's by Scott Odell. And it just reminds me of that because it's all about like a girl raising herself in nature, and I loved that novel. So if you did like that, this is fairly similar. So I do recommend this book very highly. Please go out and read Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Tell me how you like it.